In the heart of San Francisco, California, on a foggy Saturday morning, Mason Harper, a young aspiring artist, was setting up his easel near the Golden Gate Park. Mason, with his tousled brown hair and paint-splattered jeans, had always found solace in the strokes of his brush. His dream was to capture the essence of the city on canvas. As he painted, the cool breeze carried the scent of damp earth and blooming flowers, and he felt inspired by the play of light filtering through the fog. As he immersed himself in his work, he noticed Isabella Morgan, a free-spirited photographer with curly chestnut hair and an infectious laugh, taking candid shots of the park's vibrant flora and friendly passers-by. Her camera clicked rapidly, capturing the city's fleeting moments. Intrigued by her passion, Mason approached her, brushing off the paint on his hands. "Hey there, what are you capturing?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady despite his nerves. Isabella turned, her green eyes sparkling with excitement. "Everything. The way the light dances on the leaves, the laughter of children, the energy of the city. It's all so alive." They quickly bonded over their love for art and the city's beauty, sharing their dreams and aspirations. Mason shared stories of his struggles to make it as an artist, while Isabella talked about her passion for capturing the essence of life through her lens. Their connection felt instantaneous, as if they had known each other for years. As days turned into weeks, Mason and Isabella met regularly, exploring different parts of San Francisco together. They wandered through the vibrant streets of Chinatown, strolled along the Pier 39, and admired the historic architecture of the city. Each outing was filled with laughter, and each shared moment fueled their creative spirits. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the bay, they sat on a bench overlooking the water. Inspired by their adventures, they decided to collaborate on a project combining Mason's paintings with Isabella's photographs. They envisioned an art exhibit titled "The Colors of San Francisco," where they would showcase the city through their unique perspectives. The project required them to spend countless hours together, working side by side in Mason's small studio apartment filled with canvases and paintbrushes. They would brainstorm ideas, explore new techniques, and critique each other's work. Mason found himself enamored not only with Isabella's creativity, but also with her unwavering spirit. She challenged him to push his boundaries and experiment with color and style, while he encouraged her to step out of her comfort zone and embrace new photographic techniques. As the exhibit date approached, challenges began to arise. Isabella received an unexpected opportunity for a prestigious photography internship in New York City. It was a dream come true for her, but it came with a heavy price. Torn between her ambition and her growing feelings for Mason, she confided in him one evening as they sorted through their latest pieces. "Mason, I don't know what to do," she said, her voice trembling. "This internship could change everything for me, but I don't want to leave you behind." Mason's heart sank. He had been falling for her, and the thought of losing her was unbearable. "You have to take it, Isabella. It's an amazing opportunity. You can't let anything hold you back." "But what about us?" she asked, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Us. We can make it work. I'll be here when you come back." "I believe in you," he replied, trying to mask his own heartache with encouragement. They spent their last days together, filled with bittersweet memories, creating art and taking photos as if time was running out. Their final moments before her departure were filled with hugs, laughter, and lingering glances. As she boarded the plane to New York, both felt a sense of loss, a longing for what could have been. As Isabella arrived in New York City, she was greeted by a whirlwind of energy and opportunity. The towering skyscrapers, the hustle of the streets, and the vibrant art scene filled her with inspiration. She was ecstatic to begin her internship at a well-known photography studio that focused on capturing the essence of urban life. The first few weeks were exhilarating. She spent long hours learning from seasoned photographers, assisting them on various shoots, and honing her skills. Isabella was often sent on assignments throughout the city, capturing everything from street performers in Washington Square Park to the dynamic life in Times Square. Each click of her camera felt like a new adventure, but amidst the excitement, she found herself missing Mason profoundly. There were nights when she would walk through Central Park, the moonlight casting soft shadows on the paths, and she would think about their late-night conversations, the way he painted the world with words, and how he would often be her sounding board for new ideas. Mason, back in San Francisco, poured himself into his art. The days felt longer without Isabella by his side, but he channeled his feelings into his paintings. He often found himself reminiscing about their time together, how they explored the hidden gems of the city, how they laughed at silly things, and how her eyes sparkled when she found something beautiful through her lens. Mason's studio became a sanctuary where he expressed his longing for her, filling canvases with swirling colors that mimicked the emotions swirling inside him. He created a series titled Fragments of Us, showcasing their favorite spots in the city. Each painting was a tribute to their moments together. The shimmering waters of the bay, the vibrant markets of Chinatown, and the stunning sunset over the Golden Gate Bridge. Mason would often host small gatherings with fellow artists, sharing his work and discussing inspiration. But deep down, he felt incomplete without Isabella. As time went by, both Mason and Isabella felt the strain of distance. Video calls became their lifeline, but the connection was not the same as being together. They spoke about their days, shared their artistic progress, and offered support for each other's challenges. However, their conversations became less frequent as Isabella became more immersed in her internship. The late nights and demanding schedule left little time for their usual chats. Mason would sometimes stare at his phone, hoping for a message from her. But the silence often left him feeling isolated. One evening, after a particularly long day, Isabella sat on her bed in her small New York apartment, staring at a photograph she had taken in San Francisco. It was a candid shot of Mason, paintbrush in hand, completely immersed in his work. The image tugged at her heart, reminding her of the bond they had forged. She picked up her phone, wanting to reach out to him, but doubts flooded her mind. Would he understand? Was he moving on without her? Back in San Francisco, the anticipation for the exhibit grew as Mason worked tirelessly to prepare. He had rented a small gallery space in the heart of the Mission District, a vibrant neighborhood known for its colorful murals and artistic community. Mason wanted the exhibit to reflect not just his work, but the partnership he had formed with Isabella. With just a few weeks left until the opening night, Mason was in full swing. He spent his days painting and his evenings planning every detail of the event. He reached out to local artists and friends, inviting them to attend. The walls of the gallery were adorned with bright colors, and the atmosphere was electric as he meticulously arranged each piece to create a flow that told their story. The title, The Colors of San Francisco, took on a deeper meaning as Mason infused his work with feelings of longing and love. Each canvas was a piece of his heart, capturing moments they had shared in the city. He showcased a painting of the Golden Gate Bridge shrouded in fog, symbolizing the uncertainty of their relationship, yet hinting at the beauty that lay beneath the surface. As the opening night approached, Mason felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. Would Isabella make it back in time? He wondered if she could feel the weight of his longing in every stroke of paint. The night before the exhibit, he stood alone in the gallery, surrounded by his work, feeling the gravity of the situation. He whispered to the empty room, "I hope you see this, Isabella. I hope you feel it." On the day of the exhibit, people began to trickle in, drawn by the vibrant artwork displayed. Mason welcomed guests with a smile, but he couldn't shake the nervousness in his stomach. As he explained his inspiration and the stories behind each piece, he caught glimpses of familiar faces, friends, fellow artists, and strangers who admired his work. But with every passing moment, he felt an increasing emptiness, as if the exhibit was missing a crucial element. The gallery buzzed with chatter, and as Mason mingled, he noticed his friend Julia, an art critic, approach him. "This is beautiful work, Mason. You've really captured the spirit of the city," she said, admiring a painting of Lombard Street. "Thank you, Julia. It means a lot," he replied, but his thoughts drifted elsewhere, yearning for Isabella's presence. The evening progressed, and as Mason continued to showcase his work, he felt a growing heaviness in his heart. Would she arrive? As the night wore on, just as he began to lose hope, the gallery doors swung open, and a familiar silhouette stepped inside. Isabella stood there, framed by the doorway, her chestnut hair catching the warm light of the gallery. The room seemed to hush as she scanned the space, her eyes landing on Mason. A smile broke across her face, illuminating the room more than any artwork ever could. Isabella, Mason exclaimed, rushing toward her, feeling an overwhelming surge of emotions. She embraced him tightly, and in that moment, all the distance and loneliness melted away. "I'm so sorry I'm late. I couldn't miss this," she said, her voice a mix of excitement and relief. "I had to see it for myself. It's incredible, Mason." Mason pulled back slightly to look into her eyes, searching for the familiar spark. "You're really here," he murmured, trying to grasp the reality of her presence. As they wandered through the gallery, Mason watched Isabella take in each piece, her expressions shifting from awe to nostalgia. "This is amazing," she breathed, pointing at a painting of a foggy sunrise over the bay. "You've really captured the feeling of being here." Mason shared stories behind each canvas, recounting memories of their time together. The laughter, the adventures, the quiet moments that had inspired his work. Isabella listened intently, feeling the depth of his emotions woven into the fabric of his art. "Mason, this is like a love letter to the city, and to us," she said, her voice softening. "I can feel everything you were feeling while you painted these." They found a quiet corner of the gallery, and Isabella reached for his hand, intertwining their fingers. "I missed you every day," she admitted, her eyes glistening. "New York is amazing, but it wasn't home without you." Mason squeezed her hand, his heart swelling with emotion. "I missed you too. Every brushstroke reminded me of you. I wasn't whole without you by my side." As the evening continued, they shared stories of their experiences apart, filling in the gaps of the months they had spent away from each other. Isabella told him about the thrill of capturing life in the bustling streets of New York, while Mason spoke of the inspiration he had drawn from their memories together. Their laughter echoed through the gallery, a testament to the bond they still shared. As the exhibit wound down, the energy in the room shifted, and Mason turned to Isabella. "I was afraid you wouldn't come. I thought I'd lost you," he confessed. Isabella shook her head, tears in her eyes. "I'm here now, and I don't want to lose this. Us. You mean too much to me, Mason." In that intimate moment, surrounded by their art, they knew they had both changed during their time apart, but had emerged stronger. Their love had withstood the trials of distance, and they were ready to embrace whatever the future held, together. As they left the gallery, hand in hand, the San Francisco night enveloped them, filled with stars and the distant sounds of the city. They walked through the streets, feeling the warmth of each other's presence, knowing that this reunion marked the beginning of a new chapter, one where they would support each other's dreams while cherishing the love that brought them back together. As the sun dipped low over San Francisco, casting an orange glow over the city, Mason and Isabella found themselves perched on a rooftop overlooking the iconic skyline. The cool evening breeze danced around them, carrying the sounds of the bustling city below. They had just left the gallery, their hearts full from the reunion, yet a sense of uncertainty loomed between them. Isabella turned to Mason, her expression serious. "I've been offered a full-time position in New York. It's an incredible opportunity, but I don't want to lose what we have." Her voice trembled slightly as she spoke, the weight of her decision heavy on her shoulders. Mason felt a tightness in his chest. He had always known that Isabella's talent would take her far, but hearing it out loud made it all too real. "Wow, that's amazing. You've worked so hard for this," he replied, forcing a smile even as a pang of fear gripped him. "You deserve it." "But what about us?" she asked, searching his face for answers. "I love being here with you, but I also can't turn my back on this opportunity." Mason took a deep breath, trying to gather his thoughts. "I've been thinking a lot about this since you left for New York. I want you to follow your dreams. I want you to succeed. You're so talented, and you have so much to offer the world." He paused, his heart racing. "But I don't want to lose you either. We've built something special, and I don't want distance to tear us apart again." Isabella reached for his hand, her fingers interlacing with his. "I felt the same way. The distance was so hard, Mason. I thought it would get easier, but it didn't. I kept imagining us together, and it made me realize how much I need you in my life." As the city lights began to twinkle like stars, they shared their fears and hopes. Mason opened up about his anxiety regarding the distance. What if we drift apart again? What if we become strangers? I don't want that. Isabella's eyes softened. I've thought about that too. But what if we tried to make this work? What if we support each other, no matter where we are? We could have regular video calls, visit each other as often as possible, and share our art across the miles. I believe we can find a way to make it work. Mason nodded, feeling the warmth of her words. You're right. We've come this far, and I believe in us. But I want you to promise me something, he said, his gaze intense. Promise me you'll always communicate with me. No matter what, I want to know how you're feeling and what you're going through. Isabella smiled, relieved by his understanding. I promise, Mason, you'll always be a part of my life, no matter where I am. They spent the rest of the evening discussing their dreams and aspirations, painting a picture of a future where they could thrive, both individually and together. They envisioned visiting each other during significant milestones, collaborating on projects from different cities, and perhaps even showcasing their work together in exhibitions across the country. As they talked, Mason felt the initial fear begin to dissolve, replaced by a sense of excitement and possibility. He realized that their love could bridge the gap of distance, and that their relationship could thrive on the foundation of trust and mutual support. As the days turned into weeks, Isabella prepared for her move to New York, and Mason adjusted to the idea of her being away. Their parting was filled with mixed emotions, excitement for Isabella's new journey, and a bittersweet sadness in knowing they would be apart. On the day of her departure, they stood at the airport, their hands tightly clasped. Promise me we'll never let distance define our relationship, Isabella said, her eyes glistening with tears. I promise, Mason replied, pulling her into a tight embrace. You're my heart, Isabella. No matter how far apart we are, you'll always be with me. As she walked through the security gate, Mason felt a piece of his heart leave with her. But he also felt a surge of determination. He would channel his love and longing into his art, creating pieces that spoke to their connection, a visual testament to their relationship. In the months that followed, both Mason and Isabella thrived in their respective careers. Mason's art gained recognition in the local community, and he started showcasing his work in various galleries throughout San Francisco. His paintings reflected the vibrant life they had shared, and he often felt Isabella's presence in his brushstrokes. He frequently sent her photos of his latest work, each painting accompanied by a heartfelt message, reminding her of their bond. Meanwhile, Isabella flourished in her role in New York. She took on challenging projects and built connections with influential artists and photographers. Yet, no matter how busy she became, she made it a priority to check in with Mason regularly. They established a routine of video calls, sharing their daily lives, discussing their art, and supporting each other through the highs and lows of their respective journeys. On weekends, they would engage in virtual art sessions, painting together over video calls, sharing tips and techniques, while laughing and reminiscing about their adventures in San Francisco. They also started a joint blog where they documented their artistic journeys, showcasing their work and sharing insights about life as artists separated by distance. As time went on, they both realized that their love had only deepened through their experiences apart. They learned to cherish every moment, whether it was through a video call or a handwritten letter. They found creative ways to surprise each other, sending care packages filled with art supplies, personal notes, and small tokens that reminded them of their time together. Finally, after months of separation, Mason planned a surprise visit to New York. He coordinated with Isabella's friends to set up a small exhibition showcasing their collaborative work. When she walked into the gallery and saw his paintings adorning the walls, her heart soared. Each piece told a story of their journey together, filled with love and longing. Surprise! Mason called out as she stepped further inside, tears of joy streaming down her face. In that moment, they both knew they had made the right decision. Their love had endured, strengthened by the challenges they faced. They realized that their artistic paths would always be intertwined, no matter where life took them. Together, they began to paint a future filled with hope, creativity, and endless possibilities. And so, Mason and Isabella's journey continued. Two artists bound by love, navigating the complexities of life and distant distance, forever inspired by each other. The colors of their lives blended together, creating a beautiful masterpiece that was uniquely their own. Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey through today's true crime story. We hope you found the twists and turns as intriguing as we did. If you enjoyed the chilling details and the unraveling of this case, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue bringing you the most gripping true crime stories every week. At True Crime Unfold, we delve deep into the mysteries and realities behind the crimes that intrigue and horrify us. We appreciate your engagement, so don't forget to give us a like and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps us improve and understand what you want to see more of. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll uncover another dark tale from the world of true crime. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction.